Hello, everyone. We are back with our Professional Learning Lunch and Learn series. I am here with some great high school science department chairs, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Debbie Oliver. I teach at Nansen River High School. I teach AP Chem and also Honors Chem.
Hi, I'm Sharon Kreiner. I'm at Kings Fork High School and I teach the pre-IB IB chemistry program.
Hi, I'm Amy Jacobs. I'm the science department chair over at Lakeland High School. I teach biology, chemistry, and AP chemistry.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I did want to share that you were recommended by several different groups as some great people to speak with about really engaging virtual instruction. So I'm excited to talk with you about that today. So my first question is, what are examples of virtual student engagement and instruction that has been occurring in your science departments?
Well, some of the teachers in the science department are using Edpuzzle. They are also using Google Earth Tours. On the big blue button, they're using polls and the whiteboard option that's on there. They're also using discussion boards. I have one teacher who is doing like a live germinate seeds, and she did it live. And also she posted pictures on Canvas. I know the physics teacher and myself have used for virtual labs, used simulations. And the other chemistry teacher, Mrs. Barnes here, and I have also videotaped labs for students to view and answer their questions from that.
We also do a lot of lab simulations at Kings Fork. We utilize PhET quite a bit. And we also, so my teachers really like Kahoot, and they like quizzes, which is kind of like Kahoot. So there's that back and forth feedback, and it kind of makes the kids talk to you a little bit more than they maybe would regularly in a virtual environment. I know for myself, I just recently discovered Jamboard, which I love. In my regular classroom, my kids are always going up to the chalkboard to write the answers on the board and just do the work. So I have started to incorporate Jamboard into my class so that they have to do the work right there. And that way I know that they're not just logging on and walking away from me. They're actually talking to me and showing me that they can apply the skills that I'm trying to teach them.
Okay. We regularly have professional learning meetings at Lakeland. That's incorporated into our schedule. So we're able to share, I guess, maybe more often than a lot of other schools are. So in addition to the other strategies and items that the other schools have brought up, there's also ways to where the students are kind of forced to participate in order to stay online. There is a great quizzing program called GimKit. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of that, where the students, well, you're virtually on there with them and activate it, but you don't see what they're doing. You just see the scores go up and they compete for money. And it's a 30-day trial for teachers, but if you pay, like, I think it's $4 something a month, you can do that too. You can make your own questions, or you can use ones that are already in like a database that other teachers have, kind of similar to Kahoot. That the kids really like that because it's pretty competitive. I've had students be honest with me and tell me that in a lot of their Zoom classes, even though they're like 20 to 35 minutes long, they'll have a tendency to want to fall asleep. Maybe it's because they're setting, maybe they're doing their Zoom meetings in bed or wherever their environment is. But I've gotten feedback from students saying where there's more interaction going on as far as what they're doing. We also, in our lectures, we've used Pear Deck during lectures. We've used Nearpod, quizzes, Quizlet. There's another program called Loom where you can record your lectures and then have like a little window in the bottom half, and those are all free things too. I know Pear Deck, after a certain point you have to pay for it, but I do know our principal, Mr. Wagner, had purchased that for the school, so we're using that incorporated, and it kind of guarantees 100% feedback during your lectures, because all the students have to reply back to like a little box on the actual lecture piece where you ask questions. So that's a good way to monitor who's giving, what students are replying back and which ones are not. What was another one? I'm trying to think of another thing that we've used besides those items. I just wrote a bunch of strategy things down for our SMART goals too, and I can't remember. My mind just went blank. But those are a majority of the ones that we use for, our instruction. Our administration is very big on when they observe us during our Zoom meetings. What are we doing to get the kids to be actively participating? Besides, and making sure it's just not the same few students that are answering the questions. And that is one way that we've done that. So we can get close to, or if not 100% participation in our classes. And we kind of all share that in our department. Biology kind of started a lot of that stuff. And then we just shared it with the other groups, and they're also using it. So.
Sounds like you're all doing a really good job with accountability for students and having interaction with them during the synchronous parts, and just some great instructional technology advice for others to share. So thank you so much. How do you think students are benefiting from some of these more engaging techniques your teachers are using?
Debbie, your mute button. There you go.
All right. At Newsom River, the students are, and the teachers have seen a lot with more help with the poll feature on Big Blue Button. They also found out that the students will more participate more also with the whiteboard, using that. And they also have found out that the more project type assignments, they can work together in groups and see what they're doing, involving with those also. I know some of the, one teacher in particular is doing kind of like outdoor labs. So that gets them outside more, and they can discuss that more with the everyone in the class, what they may have found also. And what was the other one someone had done? Well, just like they mentioned, the other, Amy and Sharon had mentioned, like the Kahoots and stuff like that. They can see more engagement with them that way too. They see what they're doing also there.
It also allows us to give them instantaneous feedback, so we know what they're learning as opposed to what they think they're learning. It helps us to steer them in the right direction as teachers, which is, that's our job. Most of the time we'd be walking around the classroom looking at papers as students are writing things down, and we don't have that opportunity in this environment. So forcing them to engage, forcing them to talk to us through the chat or through a Jamboard or a whiteboard or even the quizzes, it allows us to see the application of the skill and the application of the knowledge, as opposed to just wandering through the woods in the dark, basically, because that's what virtual learning is without a teacher there to guide you. So I think that the major benefit of the engaging synchronous instruction is it gives the students that encouragement piece. It allows them to see that they are learning what they need to know, and that they are capable of doing what they need to do. So I really like that part. And I think it also allows them, the way that we're running the virtual instruction, they're learning how to manage their own time appropriately. They're learning how to say, I have X, Y, and Z to get done, and I need to do it by Friday. And that's really going to help prepare them not only for college, for those of them that are going on to college, but for real life. I got to get to the dentist by 2:00, so I need to get all of my chores done before 1:30, those kind of things. It's not the best environment virtually, but I think that we're able to make lemonade out of the lemons and really help them to grow as individuals in this environment with that interaction.
Absolutely. I had that discussion with 2 of my classes today about the time management. I told them how this situation that they're in, this virtual learning environment, I know it's been difficult, especially in tough classes like chemistry and math classes, where normally they have a teacher there, that how they're ahead of the game when, if, whether they go to college or whatever their career path is, their time management, because I do know freshmen in college, that's one of their biggest struggles is that time management piece. And now having to get up on their own and make sure they get all their work done within a certain time, make sure they, come to the remediation classes that are offered and things like that. And I just remembered the other, a couple of the other items that also help to Flipgrid was another thing that we used for students to participate in class. And then also for feedback, we've been incorporating Google Forms in the Canvas. Like if there is an assignment that they have to do, you can also put the link for a specific Google form, and you could have the students evaluate themselves and or even you, as far as constructive questions like what areas do you feel like you needed more help with, and you can get all that feedback in a Google Sheet. You could also do anticipatory sets and exit slips through Google Forms as well to end the lesson. Either you could do it a daily thing if you wanted to, or you could do it a weekly thing, and then just quickly ask students either content questions or just questions on what they thought about certain areas of the content or what, they were struggling with. So you as a teacher can maybe go back and, when you look through that Google Sheet quick, even just looking at it just 5 minutes before class, just picking on a few things that students said and addressing it the next class, you could do that as well. So you can do like all these pieces virtually. It's just, getting creative with it, really. Like you said, making lemonade out of lemons, Sharon.
Yeah, I love the having student feedback and reflection. I think that's critical. I think that's awesome to do. My last question is, what recommendations do you have for your colleagues, specifically about just continuing to make virtual learning engaging?
One big thing is to keep it simple. And I think all of us, I really should be speaking for myself, but I know Nansen River, we learned from the first 9 weeks what we need to do differently. Not only to make it easy for the students, or not so much easy for the students, but more manageable for the students, but also easier on us, especially on the grading part of it and how to get the assignments in there on time. A lot of the teachers here have said that, one, focus on things that you can control and not be so hard on yourself. We also, some of us have discussed where routine is important and staying consistent. That also helps the students when they're trying to get their assignments done, just like both Amy and Sharon have talked about, managing their time and getting their assignments done on time also. And also just take time for yourself, the teacher. The teacher needs to take time for himself, because that will help also when you do go back to start, where you left off, to work some more on some things. And I have learned that also, that if you don't take time for yourself, it's going to just get crazy. And that you just, even if it's an hour or 2 hours, just take a little bit of time, then you kind of got yourself straight again, and then you can take a little break, and then you go back and work, and even work better at what you're working on at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as Deb. Just keep it simple, don't be too hard on yourself, but also, Suffolk has provided all these wonderful virtual resources for us. You don't have to do it all, right? You don't have to use quizzes and Kahoot and Nearpod and Google Forms and Google Sheets. You don't have to do it all. Just find the one thing that you're good at and use that.
Right.
Because if you can navigate it, then your students can navigate it. The other thing is to check your own boredom factor. If you're bored with your class and your lesson, trust me, the kids are bored on the other side of the screen. So if you're not excited about what you're teaching that day, then they're going to feel it and they're not going to want it. So you got to make sure that the way you approach the lesson is engaging and exciting for you yourself. Otherwise, nobody's going to be having a good time. And we got to do the best that we can here. So, and just trim the fat. More is not always more. Sometimes it is okay to just give one thing to do today. Really. So,
I agree with a lot what the other lady said. Setting routine is extremely important. I will say collaboration. We've always collaborated, but I think even collaborating with other content areas and seeing what they're using as well. And I think it's forced a lot of teachers out of their comfort zone, ones that were always like, I have to do it this my way, I have to do it my way, and that seeing what other people are doing. And also for those of us that have multiple preps, it's easier to collaborate. That way we're not all reinventing the wheel. We're all doing the same content. And like you said, Deb, it allows you to spend more time doing other things outside of the classroom, or even in the classroom. Maybe you could spend more time on another area. Streamlining everything. We have the 5 E's now. So my students know exactly what's meant by evaluate or explain or engage. They know what kind of activity or lesson that's going to be when they see that on the canvas. So, and it's a routine. Every, Monday they get on there, they know the first thing they're going to have is an engage. And it could be several different ways to engage the students, but they know what it means to do that. They usually know that it's kind of like the start of a lesson. It's a hook to get them into what we're going to be talking about. And another thing is to be flexible. We all probably have gone through Zoom issues, big blue button issues, any kind of technology issues. Sometimes you get up there and you're like, all right, I'm ready for this, and something's not working correctly. And things are happening to us, they're happening to our students as well. And just be flexible with our students as well. Because, they're in the same boat we are. And I think we're down to, we know which students are, trying to get out of doing work versus which ones are really struggling. So I think being flexible with students is very important. Even ourselves, like just being flexible with our colleagues, being flexible with everything, just because it's not like we're there and we can see, walk to the other room to say, hey, I need your help with this, or, it's just not the same. So I think the collaborative effort, the flexibility, and like you guys said about cutting the fat out, streamlining everything, and setting a routine for the students. Now they're in a routine. They know exactly what to expect when they come to your classroom. So, because it was really for all of us, like some of us have 20 or more years in, and it was like starting all over from scratch, not content wise, but like how we, teach our lessons. So we had to, jump out of the box, and it was uncomfortable for, I think, a lot of people to do that. So, the collaborative piece, I can't begin to tell you, if I didn't have my department, I don't know what I would have done in some cases, because we've all kind of brought something to the table on different areas, and we've just worked together as a team to do that. So.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that too. We also collaborate across the district in science, which is probably what caught Caitlin's attention. In August, we, out of desperation, created a Google chat for all the chemistry teachers in the district. So we've been using that as well for collaboration just between the schools, because like Amy said, we're all teaching the same thing. Sometimes we just need help.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. You might find an awesome simulation that I didn't see, because we're all searching for different things virtually, and we're about to lose Flash Player at the end of this year. So a lot of those virtual things are going to go away. So it's whatever we can, work on or get and share with each other. And even outside of the district, I'm on several social media group chats with AP, and teachers are just, before where everybody was stingy with their things, are just like, here, let's just do it. We're a team now. Let's get these kids doing what they got to do. I'm surprised at some of the things that people have shared with me that they put so much time and effort in. And that kind of made me feel like, all right, I put a lot of time and effort into this activity. I'm going to share it with a group too, just because somebody shared with me. I think it's kind of opened that up for teachers across the country, as far as sharing information and things like that.
I know, just like Amy said about those who are teaching for a long time. And I agree with her 100%. I feel like I was starting all over again. Like, we know the content, but you have to start. I could retire easily now, but I decided, because this is my 32nd year teaching. And I said, no, I'm going to stay. I had myself a goal, how long I wanted to do it. And I figure if I can get through this year, I can do anything.
That's right. That's right. I think any of us can.
you set yourself a goal, and if you're one of those people that can push yourself and do well and determined to do things, and nothing can stop you. You're the one that's going to stop yourself. So ask other people, ask your colleagues, ask the ones not only in your building, but like we talked about in your district, in Suffolk public schools, and even like Amy said, outside the district to help, hey, do you have this, or how did that work for you? And use it, or share what you think has worked really well for you and give it to other ones to use also.
Absolutely. I love how self-care has worked its way into this conversation too, because it's very easy to be plugged in the virtual setting 24 hours a day. And so I think it's very important to be able to step back. And I love also how collaboration has played such a critical role in this. So ladies, I can't thank you enough for joining today. I'm excited to share these great insights and valuable resources with our team. And thanks so much for being with me.
Thank you.
I apologize
Thank
for
you.
my comments.
Bye-bye.
Bye.